Hello there. This will be another video of the Break the Caro-Kann series, the series to analyze some games featuring the Caro-Kann to hopefully help you deal with the Caro-Kann over the board. Again, we will look at Nigel Short, who in my opinion is quite an under-analyzed GM on YouTube. But this time Nigel Short will play the Caro-Kann as black, and he will be playing against Adhiban Baskaran, a very strong grandmaster from India. The game took place in 2014, so let's take a look how it went on. We've got e4, c6, d4, d5, e5, advanced variation, bishop out, knight to f3, e6, and bishop to e2. We've got a very interesting situation because we are looking at a short variation played against Nigel Short. The knight develops to d7, attacking the pawn chain for the future, for now indirectly. White is very quick to castle, and a6. It seems black may be expanding on the queen side. It's hard to say what was the purpose of this move. It was probably it seems quite slow, but it's still very much fine. Knight b to d2, c5, attacking the pawn chain, and quite an interesting play here because we've got c4. White has developed its pieces, so we can play actively right away. Black is not ready for anything yet. Only two black pieces have moved, and it's already move 8. We've got knight to e7 developing finally, but now bishop from e8 cannot capture in case d takes c5, so the development will not be as smooth as black would hope. We've got d takes c5, knight has to take c5, and knight to b3. It's a very natural developing move. We've got an active black knight and quite passive white knight, so white wants to exchange the pieces and move the queen up the board with a tempo. White is ready to make very nice progress. We've got knight to c6, bishop to e3, attacking again the knight on c5, and there is no point in moving it back, so we've got the exchange on b3, and black should probably now develop the black squared bishop, right, to get ready to castle. Maybe another option would be to put the bishop on e4, which would be quite an active move. However, what we see here is a blunder. We can call it a blunder from Nigel Short, because we've got d4. The goal of this move is to chase away this bishop, but it's not really anything that works, because rook f comes to d1, pinning the pawn. Bishop comes to support the pawn, but it's of very little use. Knight takes d4, and knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, bishop takes d4, and queen to a4. Just in case you were wondering, here the queen taking b7 traps the queen with knight to a5. So always you have to look out for such motifs. So we've got bishop to b4, and we've got king to f8 and bishop to queen to b4, checking the king again, and these two checks are a disaster for black. Not being able to castle leaves black king very vulnerable and maintains a very active position of the white pieces. Let's remember that for the moment white is down piece but it will be, of course, temporary because of the pin on the d file. King to d8, c5, discovery attack on the bishop. The bishop has absolutely nothing to do here. Cannot do anything except taking on f2 with a check. Thanks to the check, the queen will be able to move. We got king taking the f2, queen going to c7, and as we can see, all these exchanges have resulted in equaling the material, but white's dominance is absolutely undisputed. Rook on the open d file, c pawn very well advanced, and black rook on the h8 is stuck and will be stuck for a very, very long time. We've got queen to b6. If we consider it's quite nice that already white can create some mating threats, because we've got such a little combination. Of course, Nigel Short would not fall for something like this, so we've got queen to e7, bishop developing, attacking the b pawn. There is not much to do about that. Finally, in order to protect the, in order to attack, finally, in order to develop some chances, we've got h5. However, bishop takes b7, rook to b8, and c6, supporting the bishop. The bishop is not going anywhere for the moment. Now we've got king to h7, connecting the rooks, only on move 23, which is very much late. The pawn to c7 is a very decisive move, and it forces black to take. We've got another option that would be here, rook to d7. It would be much more active and probably winning faster. However, it did not happen. So we've got exchanges. We've got losing the exchange by black on b7, and queen checks on c5. The king goes to f1, and the king is here very much in the open. But black has nothing to attack it with. The queen is pretty much alone in the attack. The bishop is not helping that much. The rook is still stuck in the corner. So queen to c4 is the only move that prolongs the game here. However, here we've got another blunder, h4, and it leads to a very quick victory by Adhiban. Let's get back to this variation. King would go to g1, and bishop to e4 would create some mating threats from c2. However, white is always in time to respond to such threats. This variation still gives white amazing chances of winning. The activity of the rooks is undisputed. Everything is under attack by the very active queen, and there are of course also mating threats. So if we decide to get greedy and take the pawn on b2, threatening checkmate, then this is checkmate in 2 for white. So you've got to be careful about that. There is really little you can do to prolong this game, so Nigel Short decided to go a bit more active and went with h4. However, here we've got rook to d8, protecting the queening square. King went to g6, but it doesn't help Nigel anymore. Queen, pawn to c8 with the queen, and black resigns here. Also checkmate alert. Why can't we take the rook on move 28? Well, it's because black has checkmate in 4 moves. So the king is still in the open, so you have to be very careful. So yeah, Nigel Short got crushed quite quickly, and this is a lesson that the grandmasters also forget the chess principles, and the chess principle here would be to castle quickly, because the uncastled king for black was pretty much the reason for the failure in this game. That's all for today. Thank you very much.